Hello everyone, I'm Brock, the curly man behind Curly Man's Comics, and today I'm going to be going over my comic book tattoos as well as my comic book origin story. Alright, as always, before I get into this, I want to ask you guys to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or send me photos to my email I'll have linked below of what your tattoos are. Tell me about your origin stories. I'd love to learn more about you guys. And I kind of want to apologize for only coming out with a video this week on Sunday. I've been usually doing a Wednesday, Sunday, but I'm looking at going back to school for an art education degree, as well as I just got a new job this week. So I have a lot on my plate right now. So what I'm going to try and do now is do longer videos on Sunday that kind of cover two categories. Typically it'll probably be a comic book haul and then a different video, maybe top 10 comics of something. So this week I'm doing my origin story, as I mentioned, and my tattoos. So I want to apologize in advance. You're just going to be getting longer videos on Sunday for a while until I figure out what's going on with my life. So let's dive into my origin story first. So I wouldn't say my true origin story kicks in until about high school, probably around 9th grade-ish. And I'd always read comics before that. I was typically more into manga, Shaman King, Dragon Ball Z, that kind of stuff every child enjoys. And as I was getting into high school and drawing more art, I realized that I wanted to draw more comic book focused stuff instead of manga focused stuff. And what really got me into that was the book The Walking Dead. And what happened was we have these bunk beds in my bedroom with pull-out underwear drawers in them. And I tried to close my brother's underwear drawer and it wouldn't close. I'm like, what the hell does he have in his drawer? I open it up, buried underneath his underwear, he has Walking Dead Compendium 1 checked out from the library. I don't know why it was there, I didn't want to ask. I'll let that be his weird situation. I'm not going to ask on that. But anyways, opened it up. Maybe he was hiding it from me because it had some death and blood in it, who knows. But I opened it up and it's amazing. I love the art, Tony Moore's art especially. I learned to love Charlie Adlar's art, but Tony Moore definitely got me into it. I started up kind of doing my own little apocalypse comic book. So that's definitely what got me interested in comics. And then the more comics I read, the more I realized that I loved these deep emotional stories. The Walking Dead, Sweet Tooth, Fables, all these comics that have these deep morals that I felt were very important, as well as having many different characters that I could enjoy. I could pick out my favorite one. Many different comic runs. I typically like longer comics where there's multiple stories going throughout them. So basically my whole love of comic books all started with me finding The Walking Dead in my brother's underwear drawer. Alright, so now let's get into my tattoos. And for those of you that don't know, I'm the weird middle child in my family. I have the angel older brother and the devil little sister. But I'm the weird one in the middle, basically. She's getting better. I don't know. Well, she'll watch. She'll punch me later. We'll figure it out. But basically, I'm the weird kid in my family, and why not heighten my weirdness by being the only one in my family to have tattoos? So I was looking online for a long time. I looked through every single tattoo shop that I could find on Google Maps in Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, and Michigan. Literally every single tattoo shop that was available to look at. And I looked at every single person in that tattoo shop. It took me probably a couple months to finally find the person I wanted. They were pretty close by. And basically I had all of these favorite comics that I wanted tattooed on. Fables, Sweet Tooth, The Walking Dead, and Fables again up top. And I had a general idea of how I wanted them laid out, but then I went there and he laid them out in a way better way. I really enjoyed it. I had all these pictures selected that I kind of either wanted edited in some way to take out some characters I don't care about. Example, Lori from The Walking Dead was in this panel, and screw Lori. And then Pinocchio was in the Fables panel, and he's okay, but screw Pinocchio. I don't know. But basically, I had all these photos that I wanted selected, and then I had him mash them together, and he did it really well, and he listened to all of the things I wanted to hear, or listened to all the things I said, and made it exactly what I wanted. So let's go over panel by panel. I'll put up a photo because I don't want to be twisting my arm and getting naked on camera. Leave that for another day. But at the bottom I have Fables, and in this panel He had the idea of making it look like it wrapped around my arm, which I really enjoyed. And I have Reynard, who's probably my second favorite character in the story. And he's just this badass wolf who's sneaky, or badass fox who's sneaky. He gets around, he basically helps the good guys in his own secretive way. Really interesting character of Fables. Then I have Boy Blue, by far my favorite character in the whole series. He's just this really relatable character who seems like a nobody in his origin, but he's this very powerful warrior. He goes to fight the evil bad guys all by himself. He does a great job. Really sad story about what happens to him, but really motivational character. And then I have Flycatcher, who's kind of the goofy guy of the group, who somehow becomes this huge, important character in the series. It was really cool to see him develop and become who he was. Just great story. I'll jump up top to the other one that I have up here, and that one also has characters from Fables. I would say the main two characters, who is Snow White and Bigby the Big Bad Wolf. Just an amazing, enjoyable panel. This one definitely took the longest. Probably hurt the most once he got up kind of near my collarbone-ish area. But really dynamic panel of Bigby as the actual Big Bad Wolf, and then Snow White on his back riding in their adventures. Awesome story, awesome characters. Let's jump down to, let's go to Sweet Tooth next. And this is a comic I'm happy to say is finally coming to the small screen, I guess you would consider it. They're going to be making it a Netflix adaptation. And I have my favorite characters. The main character, Sweet Tooth, who's this animal hybrid boy that is basically being blamed as the start of a disease apocalypse where all these normal humans are dying, but the animal hybrids that are being born are living, and he appears to be the first one ever birthed. So they're kind of blaming him for the disease that's going around. His little sidekick, Bobby, by far my favorite character in the series. Bobby does no wrong. He's the perfect little angel, but still a badass at the same time. Really great character. Love that story. Happy it's coming to Netflix soon. I believe Robert Downey Jr. is helping direct it or something like that. So I have high hopes for that series. And then finally I have the Walking Dead panel. And as I mentioned, I took out Lori from this panel, and it's Tony Moore's work, which I mentioned earlier in my origin story, is what got me into comics in the first place. So of course I gotta have some of his work on me. I have Rick shooting at a walker and little baby Carl standing behind him all pew pew, little badass child. I love him. This is the only tattoo that I definitely don't regret, but I've had people kind of like point it out, and it irritates me all the time. Like, oh, why do you have a gun on your arm? And it's like, it's Rick, he's a badass. Why not have him on my arm? I don't know. I used to work at Michael's with a lot of old ladies wanting to buy crafts and hating tattoos. So I enjoy where I work now. They don't care about tattoos at all, which was rather surprising, but I'm happy to be working there now. So yeah, as I mentioned, one of my favorite series, two of my favorite characters from that series. Great series overall. Great start, great middle, great end. Got a little slower in the middle, but really developed the characters at that point. And basically I got all of this done, and then he said, do you just want to leave the rest of it blank? Do you want to possibly leave it to add in more panels eventually? And I really liked how it was. So I said, why don't we add in some flower background? And he said, what flowers do you want to do? So I picked poppies, which have always kind of been known to symbolize death or rebirth in a way. So I chose that to represent all the characters in my favorite stories that haven't lived through the entire series. There's been tons of them. Definitely superheroes seem to die every other week. But I'm talking more the permanent ones from The Walking Dead, for example, Deadly Class, Fables. Alright, so I think I have gone over everything that I've had done so far. This is my only tattoo. I went big or went home on the first one. And I'm looking at getting this arm done next. And I'll leave up the artist's Instagram that I would love to go to. He's a foreign artist, so I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon or ever. I'm kind of looking at artists that do similar things within the United States. But one idea that I have is getting a bunch of ornate looking picture frames, kind of looking like they're nailed into my skin, and then going to other artists to have them fill in more of my favorite comic book characters. So I'm kind of setting up this collage of different artists on my arm in a way. So I might have Venom done by one tattoo artist in this ornate panel, and Sleeper done in this panel, or a bunch of different characters that I love and enjoy, someone from Grass Kings possibly, or the other option is just doing something very similar to this arm with a bunch of panels and flower overlay behind it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think would be a more interesting idea? What would you enjoy to see more? I'd love to hear that. And that's kind of where I'm going to wrap up this video. I mentioned my origin story, how I found Walking Dead in my brother's underwear drawer. I mentioned how I'm the weird kid with tattoos in my family. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up. As always, I'm Brock, the Curly Man behind Curly Man's Comics, signing off.